Welcome to the Acecall.ai podcast, where we help golf club managers win with AI. Running a golf club today is harder than ever. So we created simple AI solutions and a podcast to make it easier for you. I'm Clayton Elliott.
And I'm Brad Milligan. Together, we bring a mix of entrepreneurial innovation and decades of golf club management experience to help you optimize your club, increase profitability, and elevate the member experience. So let's dive in.
Right on. Thanks, Brad. Today, we are going to be exploring the risks and benefits of being a first mover in AI for golf, of being tactically, there are no more first movers. This has been around for a while, so we're really just arguing and discussing and debating whether you will be in the early majority or the late majority or a total laggard. So also we're going to talk about the risks and benefits of hugging tightly to the old tech and really just doing nothing as AI continues its rapid growth and spread throughout our life and our business and how we do work. So in this short episode, we're tackling a huge question. Essentially, should your golf club be an early majority adopter of AI, or should you hang back, hold back, and see how it all plays out over the coming years?
Yeah, good question there, Clay. That's the most important question general managers need to be asking themselves about this tech and this moment in time right now. We will break down in this episode the benefits, the risks, and just as importantly, what happens if you choose to do nothing and keep running things the old school way.
Yep. And if this conversation sparks some ideas or questions, do give us a call toll free at 1-866-838-8581. You can chat with our voice AI receptionist live, and we'd love to hear how you see AI fitting into your golf club's future, and if you plan on being a early majority or late majority or an actual laggard. So since we're kind of already well out of the innovator and early adopter stages, this is now getting picked up by the Gen Pop, as they say. And if you're a general manager, golf pro, food and beverage manager, or golf club owner who is interested in tapping into the AI trend, voice AI is the easiest and safest way to dip your toe in the water and get real results right away that will impress your members and your staff. And, if you're asking yourself, do the risks of being a first mover or an early majority adopter with this tech, with this AI tech in golf, do the risks outweigh and do the costs outweigh the benefits, and you don't know the best answer for yourself, if you're confused and want to figure it out, let's dive in.
Right on. Thanks, Clay. Good points there. I mean, it's really popped into everything in our lives, right? You just see it popping up in search bars and on your phone, and everything's kind of got some AI involved now. So yeah, like you said, AI is shaking up almost every industry, but where do you see it making the biggest impact in golf clubs?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, right? I'd
Yep.
say, we've covered this a bit in previous episodes, and we'll cover it in more detail in future episodes. But to sum it up, AI it's already transforming golf club management in a few key ways, right? If you're not doing this, it doesn't mean it's not still transforming the way management is done in golf clubs, because other clubs are already doing this. This is currently, tee sheet optimization. Currently, there's AI tech that can accurately predict demand and adjust tee times to maximize revenue in real time, in the moment, at the moment, every moment. There's personalized member engagement. AI can analyze behavior, purchases, times people play, all types of different data, and it can send customized offers, right? So the personalized member engagement, automated customer service, voice AI like ours, Acecall.ai, and web-based AI chatbots can handle bookings, FAQs, and member inquiries of all types pretty much instantly. AI is also having a big impact on course maintenance. right? There's wildly advanced groundskeeping machinery with AI sensors tapped into the GPS that tracks moisture levels, tracks turf health, equipment needs, right? These are just a few of the many ways that AI is being used in golf right now. And there's many more ways to come very soon. And there's many more ways that we don't even know about that we're learning ourselves.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff, Clay. I think, I come from a really strong customer service background, and one of the issues was I wasn't getting enough time in front of the customers, interacting human to human. So definitely that one kind of hit the mark there. So from a and from a club's GM's perspective, the real question is, does the upside outweigh the risk, right? So nobody wants to lead the charge to take a leap with new tech and end up looking stupid to your bosses or colleagues or customers or all of them for that matter. There's always risks with any new endeavor. So the benefits need to greatly outweigh the risk, or people, they just won't move first. So they'll wait until everyone else has done it first. See that kind of being a trend, and people in general will follow the trend. Very few want to set the trend, but there are real huge advantages and benefits with being a known trendsetter, especially in golf and any other luxury market.
Yeah, exactly. The luxury markets are not known. Those in the luxury markets are not known to have a marketing strategy of, let's just sit back and see what everyone else does and then copy.
Yeah.
Like that's generally not part of their ethos, from luxury clothes to luxury cars to luxury leisure experiences and sports and travel, right? Like it's always exclusivity is tied in with trend setting. So yeah, and like you said, many people in general, right? We shy away from pioneering and from trying to set the trends, right? For good reasons, right? We're hardwired to be more risk averse than we are to be advantage gaining. Like people are less likely to do something where there's a gain. They're less likely to be motivated by future gain, than they are
Yeah.
to minimize losses, right?
Yeah.
So it really does dissuade people from moving when they should move, because there's a risk of movement. So let's dig in. Let's start with the benefits of jumping into this AI technology, earlier than the majority, being in the early majority versus the late majority. If you're in the early majority, I still consider you like an early adopter, technically, even though the early adopters are actually a very small percentage of the total market. So, yeah, we'll dig in with the benefits of getting on this stuff early, and more specifically, not just AI technology, but voice AI technology and Acecall.ai. Shameless self-promotion once again.
Always good to sneak one in there. All right, yeah. Let's break it down, Clay. So, just what are the biggest advantages of being an early adopter of AI?
Yeah, in AI in general, the overarching just kind of early adopter of AI in general, there's too many to list them all. Again, we're definitely going to keep this episode a little shorter. I know we keep saying that in previous episodes, and we keep kind of adding more thoughts and ideas, and we go way over our projected time. But here's just some of the main benefits and advantages that first movers stand to gain, right? First is obviously competitive differentiation. AI powered clubs can and will provide a smoother, high-tech member experience, right? There's never a downside to positively differentiating yourself from your competitors in the golf club industry. It's not good to differentiate yourself negatively from your competitors, but there's no downside to positive differentiation, right? This is working with the AI, getting it implemented in some degree. This is guaranteed. It's a guaranteed way to do that, right? There are simple and safe ways to start, as we kind of beat the dead horse with the voice AI. But any AI that you get involved with Even if you're just in discussions with your members, you're already starting to set yourself aside from other clubs that aren't having these conversations, right? Then
Yep.
there's cost, right? There's cost savings through automation. AI can reduce your staffing costs and improve efficiency, right? You'll AI can help you get more productivity out of your staff, right? And not just
Yeah.
that, but also boost their job satisfaction because they're not going to be wasting their time on low value activities that burn them out. And don't even add, it doesn't even add value to your members, right? So first movers will are more likely, I'm going to say will, but they're way more likely to reap these cost savings sooner rather than later. All this hardware we mentioned before, all this software, it has a learning curve. So if you act first, if you get in the earlier stages, you're going to get further up the learning curve. And any benefits that can be derived are going to come to you sooner than others, right? So
Yeah, can I just touch on that
yeah,
the staff
please.
stuff there? Yeah, so like that's a massive thing in the golf industry is burnout and like overworking mainly your golf professionals. I know other categories can burn out as well. Definitely your food and beverage staff can burn out. You can have, I mean, basically every sector of a golf course can just because of the nature of it, especially if you're in a cold place like Canada, where you're trying to put the best product forward for 6 months of the year, right? So you end up a lot of the time going really hard at the beginning. And when you get kind of into the middle of the season, you're repeating all of these tasks and things like that. So burnout is a massive thing that can wear out your staff, and then you're not getting the same quality of product from the individuals at the beginning of the season when they were all gung ho, and then you're kind of towards September and they're just like, oh, can it snow already, right? So that's a massive thing that if this could clean up some of those menial tasks that just get repetitive and they're not keeping you doing the fun things you like to do, the enjoyable parts of the job, that would be epic.
Yeah, exactly. And there's cost associated with sick days. Obvious, there's costs associated with sick days, but even just like lower
Sure.
productivity, lack of focus, people are tired, they're
Hmm.
stressed, they might be self-medicating to some degree just to kind of take
Sure.
the edge off, which is definitely not making them perform the best. If they're all Prozac up and they're got that nice like that nice Prozac with what's it called, the Prozac glaze over the eyes. It's just they're just like there, but they're not really there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so um, anything to make your staff happier to do their jobs, right? Less burned
Sure.
out is going to make them
Sure.
more productive. It's going to mean they're going to quit less often. So you have to try to
Yep.
hire and train newer staff less frequently, right? So there's just all types of savings that can be realized through AI automation. Right? We'll do a whole episode on just digging into the savings alone, really
Yeah.
granularly like examining and studying and breaking them down. But for now, that's enough of an overview. Another point is better course maintenance and sustainability. AI can help clubs optimize irrigation and turf management, like we said before. GPS and water conservation tech can help build a state-of-the-art course and club aligned with the values of the younger generations, like sustainability and triple bottom line impact. And he talks about people, planet, and profit. It's going to be easier to actually implement these kind of policies and ways of doing business with this tech. And early market authority. It's something similar to competitive differentiation, as like I mentioned before. But this one is kind of it's a big one for a number of reasons, right? Because first off, because of the prestige of your golf club's brand and the opinions of your members about your brand, that matters, right? It matters. It's not like a intangible, insignificant thing. Bragging rights are a thing, and they do hold clout in this industry, right? So establishing yourself as a bold leader who's willing to experiment with new and innovative ways to better serve your members, your staff, your shareholders. This really does set you apart from the rest of your industry
Hmm.
peers. It really does
Yep.
give you that ability at the next, uh, annual expo, the CMAA event. You're down there and you're mingling, you're talking, you're going for dinners, you're playing golf, you're just interacting with so many of your peers to be able to say like, oh yeah, we had AI set up in our club last year. And everybody's just like, wow, well, you had it set up last year? Like, I'm just starting to learn about this now, right? There is the early to market authority has weight in
Mm-hmm.
all sectors and all industries. Club is or golf is absolutely one of those sectors and industries that can benefit
100%.
big time from it, right? So being first
Yeah.
also means you can tap into opportunities. There's also opportunities for media coverage that you wouldn't otherwise get, right? People got to pay for media coverage, right? But if you're the one breaking ground with this new tech, you're leading the way, people will write articles about you. It's easy to get media coverage when you're doing something new and innovative. Partnerships, you can get more sponsor interest. You're increasing your brand's appeal to your members,
Yeah.
but also to these other kind of tertiary and joint venture opportunities and affiliate opportunities, partnerships, and so on. So, like I said, I'm just scratching the surface here. I'll kind of pause there.
Yeah, no, I bet. And that last one's huge. Golf clubs that lead in tech adoption, they get seen as innovators, right? And like you mentioned above, there's so much comparison going on, and you go from one club to another, and if they have better tech, if they have more simulators, or they've got a better setup, it's like those members that visit, they get they get jealous of that, and they want that at their club, right? So and that type of thing attracts younger members who expect digital convenience, and a club that's staying on top of things and leading the way instead of just dragging along.
Yeah, exactly. And like, don't forget, the biggest financial advantage of this tech is revenue optimization. This is
Yeah.
like, I don't know the hard numbers. I've never broken down the cash flow statements, the income statements, and the balance sheets of golf clubs. So I don't really have that level of granular understanding of the revenue of a golf club and how to optimize it. But just based on our conversations and based on my research, like, this is huge unrealized opportunities that golf clubs have never been able. It just feasibly, like logistically, operationally, has not been possible until this time, right? So the revenue optimization, AI can predict peak times, can adjust pricing, and prevent no-shows, all automated with zero human involvement. And it can do it like in live time, like on the fly. What I keep saying, it's like it's uh, it's live, right? It's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a um, hotel reservations and car or and flights. It's just like you go to book a flight today, it's this price. You book a flight tomorrow, it's a different price, because there's all these other market demands and all these other availabilities and market supply and demand changes, right? And it changes the prices of things, or at least the value.
Yep.
It should You should be able to change the price of your offering based on the value it provides in any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Your green on a rainy Monday morning isn't worth that much. Your course on a rainy, cloudy Monday morning is not worth as much as a Saturday morning, sunny, beautiful, 23 degrees, zero humidity,
Yeah.
beautiful sky. You know what I mean? It's just not worth the same. So you can't really. But historically, clubs have to price the same. They have to charge the same, or they might like block it. They might say in this block it's this price, on this Saturday, Sunday mornings it's this price. Maybe some clubs did that, but this can all happen on the fly. So clubs can maximize their profitability, and you can ensure that you are getting everything you can out of all you got, right? So we're doing future episode. I think it's about 10 episodes away from this one, where we'll be digging into dynamic pricing, predictive analytics, and the future of tee times, and how AI is going to transform revenue management in the golf club industry. So that's a future episode we'll be digging into more.
Yeah, that's going to be a great episode. I really think that something like that could be super valuable for these public clubs that are public courses that they really don't have this data, right? And they're kind of guessing, and they haven't had these tools yet. So I think something like that could be incredible for those clubs. The dynamic pricing. I know there are some clubs using dynamic pricing already, based on time of day and that kind of thing. But to have this type of predictive analytics and using AI to do so, I mean, now you can really get to the nuts and bolts of it. So AI doesn't just cut costs, it helps clubs, make more money too, right? Having spent half of my life working in clubs and battling through the countless repetitive manual inefficiencies, it's going to be amazing to see clubs operating with all these AI applications in full force.
Yeah, bingo. I again, I'm kind of experiencing this vicariously through you, right? And through all you guys listening to this who are our members or our future, subscribers to Acecall.ai. I
Sure.
can only see what we have our hands in, right? Like I'm not going to get a lens into every single golf club, but I think like you mentioned, once you worked at one or two, you've worked at them all. Generally, there's like just degrees of good, better, and best and worst, but it's the same operations, it's the same things, same motions you're going through, same product ultimately. And I look forward to seeing as well how clubs kind of getting all these applications working in full force in harmony with each other, what that's going to do. So if you're listening and you want to explore AI solutions for your club, do give us a call. We have an AI voice receptionist who is on standby to have a quick chat with you. It's a very unique experience if you never chatted with one of these things yet. So give it a call for totally toll free, 1-866-838-8581. Again, 1-866-838-8581. We have other AI offerings other than voice AI, and would love to discuss them with you and how they also can help your club. But yeah, let's continue on.
Awesome.
Where were we?
All right, Clay. Let's move on here. Let's play devil's advocate. What are the biggest risks of jumping in too soon with AI? I know, no tech is perfect, and everything to do with tech has hidden costs and pains with using it. So I imagine AI is no different, right? Like, how can this go horribly wrong for people? What are the risks with getting in too early on new tech, or even just adopting new tech at any time, even if it's legacy tech that's been around for decades in the market?
Yeah, no, that's a very fair question and a very good one that we all should be asking ourselves when we're considering and assessing and evaluating really any new tech, right? Not just AI. So I would say, this is just a few general areas of risk that won't come as a surprise to anyone. And it's where first movers and early adopters can sometimes run into trouble, I guess. The first is high initial costs. Specifically speaking about AI, many AI solutions require considerable upfront investment. A lot of them, including ours, we have a setup and configuration fee that is not it's not nothing. It can be quite considerable depending on your needs and depending on how many of these agents you want deployed in your club. So ROI is not going to be instant. Some massive AI hardware and software investments can get into six figures, not ours. I'd recommend if you are just getting started to grab some low-hanging AI fruit, is how I like to refer to it,
Yeah.
to reduce your high initial cost of dabbling and experimenting and exploring and learning. So something you can learn and deploy quickly, ideally, something you can test in your club for a season to gauge member and staff interest and benefit, right? Do they like it? Will they use it? So if you can fail quickly and fail cheaply, that's always the best way to experiment. I would say so before you get to $1 million worth of hardware and software you're dropping on a GPS integrated AI driven groundskeeping machinery, you can always test drive some simple AI solutions with a much shorter learning curve, or no learning curve at all if it's all done for you and set up for you and deployed for you. So high initial costs is not just money invested in the software. That's the obvious one. It's also your time too, which In business is literally money. It's literally like wages. So, this is the first and most obvious risk, I would say, of being an early adopter in AI golf, AI for golf. Right? I'd say the next risk are, I guess, tech glitches and growing pains. Right? It's kind of tied in with the first one of sunk costs. Right? New AI systems sometimes have bugs or require frequent updates or require a lot of training. Right? As we said before, this is also totally normal for all new tech, AI or otherwise. But it's something that you want to. Is it something that you want to risk exposing your members to, your staff to? Right? Are they forgiving, and will they work with you while you figure it all out? What exactly are the glitches that you're exposed to, that you're at risk of encountering? What exactly do the growing pains feel like? How do they look like? How long will they take before you're kind of over them? Different clubs are all going to have different tolerances to these risks, and we'll need to assess each AI option based on each one's exposure to risk and their tolerant level, their risk tolerance level. So yeah, tech glitches, growing pains, that's another risk.
Can I just touch on some of those?
Please.
Yeah, just like my experience with tech glitches is you can match, like if you have tech glitches going on, and I've had them with various softwares that we've instituted at clubs. And the thing that the best way to solve that problem was really good customer service. So if I was able to get somebody on the line with me right away, solving the issue in real time, there was less of that member frustration if it was like a big glitch. Usually it's just a little tiny thing, usually on the user side of things where I need something done specific for my specific needs for the club. And the out of the box, the company wasn't providing that, and then they'd fix it in the back end, and it was pretty seamless. But a couple times, you'd have like tee sheets go down and members couldn't book tee times, just catastrophic glitches. And the better the customer service was, the faster the problem got resolved, and it was almost like it didn't even matter at the end of the day. Whereas when I was working with other companies and the customer service was not where it needed to be, or they'd sold the company and we were still using their software, and now they'd basically outsourced their customer service to some other company, and that company wasn't fulfilling their end of the bargain, then it's like the pains really kicked in, and we ended up going with another provider, right? So I know you and I are big into this whole philosophy of us really being there and keeping this industry moving in the correct direction, and being there with people to make sure that we're all growing together. It's not just us selling you a product and disappearing. It's like, we want to be there with you. We want to see this move in the right direction. So just thought I'd touch on that for a sec there, Clay.
No, that's very helpful. I'm glad you mentioned it and added it to this discussion, because the glitches and growing pains, it's a real the growing pains associated especially with just learning new tech, but also the glitches and the breaks and things not doing what they're supposed to do. It really does hit morale, team morale, individual morale. It really takes the wind out of your sails. It's one of the reasons that we are focusing on basic voice AI right now, because it doesn't have any glitches. There's no glitches that it can really encounter. It's really on the rails. It's on the track. It doesn't have the ability to go off track. It's trained to keep everything on track, and then all it does is send an email following the conversation with a word for word transcript and a call summary, which, again, this tech is so advanced, it's able to very easily analyze and summarize a call. It can't mess this up. And then the advanced mode, you can't just come and buy advanced mode. We're not just selling advanced mode to anybody right now. Right now, in these early stages of the company, we're focusing on the product that has no glitches and literally zero growing pains, because we're setting it up for everyone. We're configuring it for them. By the time you guys take it over, you and your staff take it over and your members take it over and are using it, there's literally nothing you have to do except for we forward the number, the number of your club to our number, so people still call the same numbers. Now they just have to check their emails and check the company email when it does ping to review it. And when it says like call review, AI call review, or AI call summary, whatever title you want to put as the subject line in your inbox, people are going to see it and they're going to know what it's about. And they're going to just read the email and they're going to get the benefit right away in the moment.
Yep.
As soon as they read the email, they get the benefit. There's no growing pains associated with reading an email. So
No.
I want to kind of just add that to your point there, which is like,
Sure.
There are real risks of getting with this technology. We're removing the risks of glitches and the growing pains
Big time.
because
Big
we
time.
don't want any resistance for new members, for new subscribers, new customers to sign up for this and start using it right away and benefiting from it right away so they can start deploying it. This is, early February 2025. Our goal is to have this rolled out into hundreds of clubs by the time the season starts in, April, full swing in May, I imagine. But the weather is probably good enough in May that things are almost in full swing, if not full swing.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah. And so, and the next big risk I would say is there's also staff resistance, right? Tying into the glitches and the growing pains, right? Staff will resist this more if there are more risks of glitches and longer, more intense growing pains, right? Some employees also, for a completely other different reason, they may actually worry about job security, right? Or they may struggle with using the new technology and then feel like their job is more, there's more job security risk because they can't actually use the new technology. One fear is that technology will replace the person. Another fear is they won't be able to use the technology. It will become ubiquitous, it'll become necessary, and they won't understand it, and it'll be beyond their comprehension. So it creates kind of, resistance across the board for these reasons. But I would say like this one of them being worried about, job security, this one should be the easiest to overcome in golf because like we said before, AI tech in golf, it's really only going to make your staff more productive and less stressed while working like fewer hours and less hard. It's not going to replace them. It's going to make their life way easier and make their work way easier, right? But if the tech is hard, or at least ours, at least this is our claim about ours, right? We can't speak for everything else. But if the tech is hard or confusing to use, even if it won't replace staff, they're definitely still going to have some resistance to adopting it.
Big time.
I would say as well, cybersecurity, data privacy risks, right? AI collects a lot of member data, which must be protected. I can see clubs having some resistance and maybe some members having some resistance because of these risks and legit concerns. My response to them is that all tech comes with risk of use, privacy risk. That's why every single website has a privacy policy. We all have to, we need to use all tech responsibly and with discernment, and then just proceed. Right? We can't completely eliminate risk from life. So we can't drive a car. We can't eat food in a restaurant. So we might get food poisoning. We can't drive in a car. You might get in a car crash. Like risks, it's in life. We just have to minimize and reduce it and navigate it. So if you're really concerned about privacy, I would say read a company's privacy policy. If you're up for it, you want to see how they handle your user data, right? And then make up your mind on a case-by-case basis. But I would say, most of these companies are doing a pretty decent job as far as managing all the data and ensuring it's kept private.
Yeah, that last one's important, Clay, because golf clubs handle sensitive member data. Some members who are high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals, or even like if they're public figures or celebrities or something like that, right? They're members of golf clubs, so they need an expert top security.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say if clubs rush into AI without a solid plan, they could definitely end up wasting money or even alienating members and staff. So, there are times when doing nothing is better than doing something. It's not always good to just act indiscriminately. There's a time to, stay still and wait, and there's a time to move. and it's
Mhm.
not always clear which time is to move and which time it is to stay still and wait, right? So discernment. I always go back to discernment and gauging what is good for you and what is not good for you.
100%. Yeah, discernment's an underrated skill and worth building big time there. So, how does this compare to the risks of the other side here of not adopting AI? What happens if general managers just ignore this trend, just pretend it's not there and it's not happening, or at least won't influence or affect them?
Yeah, that's a very good question as well. I would say I'll I'll flip it back to you. You know,
Sure.
what do you see? What do you see happening if a club like sticks with the current tech status quo and doesn't adopt AI? Like from your perspective of
Yeah, yeah.
professional a golf club manager with decades of experience, like what would you say is the risk of doing nothing, just waiting?
Yeah, well, here's what I see happening. It's kind of been like this with other technologies, right? You're gonna fall behind the competition. So members are going to expect AI driven convenience, right? They're going to other clubs, right? They're seeing that. They're calling other clubs. They're getting that experience. So clubs that don't adapt will lose out. Um, Inefficiency becomes expensive. You know, without automation, labor costs rise and revenue opportunities will shrink.
Mm-hmm.
Again, missed revenue optimization. AI can adjust pricing and tee times dynamically without a club's, they're just leaving money out on the table, right? And then I know we're going to touch on this in future episodes here, but younger members go elsewhere, right? So millennials and Gen Z expect tech integration, and they'll choose clubs that offer it.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I would say the risks. It's not just about falling behind; it's getting like left out of the future of
Yeah,
golf, right? And
yeah.
possibly, I imagine some shareholders they don't care. This will be their dream. Right? They'll just cash out and sell the golf course. But a lot of places they don't want to cash out and join the ranks of golf clubs that are sold to real estate developers, real estate
Mm.
tycoons that want to build up these golf clubs into the next like subdivision, right? So I think if clubs can't stay on board with these things, it's potentially not just falling behind and staying in the game. It's potentially at some point like being cut out of the game entirely.
100%. So, I mean, then the real question becomes, isn't just should I adopt AI? It's can I afford not to?
Yeah, that's ultimately one of the biggest questions we have to ask ourselves is like, what's the cost of not doing this?
Yeah.
It's not just what do I risk if I do it and it doesn't work. What happens if I don't do it and it does work for everyone else?
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
like can I afford to just commit to the status quo and like not do anything? If I can,
Yeah.
then maybe I will, right? But if I can't afford to, then I got to start taking, preventative measures and precautionary measures and preemptive measures to start getting ahead of something, right? To start responsibly and intelligently and intentionally adopting this software, where it makes sense for a club. So, yeah, we can wrap there. I would say, if you're curious about what this can do for your club, do give us a call. 1-866-838-8581. I'll be the squeaky wheel that gets the grease, right? The
Yeah.
telemarketer being like, call us today, 1-866-838-8581.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Classic.
call us. If you have already called it and you've interacted with it, you understand how it works, book a demo with us if you haven't already. If you
Mm-hmm.
have already, we're hoping that we already have you set up and you just listen to this content because there's more to learn and you're here to learn. But if you haven't yet called it, if you haven't yet booked a demo, please do that. It's for your own benefit, and we just love talking to more and more golf clubs and GMs and people that can see this working into their situation and can chat with us. Right? We want to have more and more conversations every week. Our goal is at least 30 to 50 one-to-one conversations that we can have with different GMs, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I would say talk to our voice AI employee. If you haven't already, envision what something like this can do for you and for your busiest phone line or busiest phone lines in your golf club.
Yeah, and it's really that low hanging AI fruit that you mentioned earlier, right? It's just envision what it can do for you, and it's so easy to institute it at this point, right? But let's not drone on too much. Let's wrap this up, Clay. What's your final word for club GMs wondering if they should adopt AI now?
Yep. I wrote this down. I want to say this exactly. If your club has the budget, the vision, and I would say the cojones, right? The chutzpah and the gumption to
Yeah,
lead
yeah.
and to step out in front of the pack. AI is a game changer, right? If you have deep pockets, you have spare time, and you can move aggressively because it will actually help you meet your club's like short, mid, and long-term business goals, and it will enhance your members' experience. Go all in with AI right now. Like hire teams of different experts to roll it out in your club this year and go through the growing pains in one season. And by next year, you'll be over the off season, you can continue the training, continue the best practice kind of development and cultivation. Obviously, every club's different. Do this within reason, but make big moves this year in 2025 to get ahead of everyone. There's great partnerships you can forge with different companies in the golf AI tech space who would be happy to create a custom plan to work with you and bring their offerings to market. Startups and other, advanced startups like further in the startup game, they need customers. We need people to kind of case study, right? So we'll work with you. Many different companies, they'll find a way to work with you if you want to work with them. So just start somewhere. Mm-hmm. And if you're hesitant, at least start researching and planning. I would say, or even better yet, like do find an entry point niche AI solution that you can get rolling out, low hanging AI fruit, something simple that can solve a single problem consistently for you, and then build on top of that once you're getting wins with AI. So you don't need to AI up your whole golf course today or risk being out of business tomorrow. But as you mentioned before, like if you deny this is happening and you let years go by without doing anything at all, you will be at best playing catch up with all your local competitors while your competitors are taking off, flying up the learning experience curve, getting massive gains in minimal amount of time because they got on it and got in on it early and began mastering it now. So we invite you to take Acecall.ai for a test drive. We have a 30-day guarantee period, so you can get a full refund if it's not for you and for your members. So that's it. I will shut up right there.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, and my take on this, right, is golf is evolving, and it always has been evolving, right? There literally used to have golf balls full of feathers that you would hit around the golf course, right? And they would blow up every, I don't know how many shots, but you'd have these balls full of feathers. Now you're dealing with these high-end golf ball companies that have like laser measured golf balls, right? It's constantly evolving. So AI won't replace the tradition of the game, but it will redefine how clubs operate. So they will, at the very least, need to stay informed or risk getting left behind. I've seen this with countless golf clubs. Let's think about how integral tech has been in the game of golf and the industry as a whole. When I started working at a golf club, we had one pro shop phone, no email, and paper starter sheets. I mean, that was some time ago, but now everything is available on an app, and the member can access most facets of the golf club on their smartphones. I used to have to take the winters off as there was nothing to do once the snow settled in. Now members can play hundreds of courses with state-of-the-art simulators and even compete with others from around the world while enjoying some chicken wings and watching the hockey game. Better even, it kept me employed and also kept my game sharp during the winter there. So, there are robot mowers and pickers that automatically pick balls and keep the turf height set. They can do their jobs overnight even. Equipment improves yearly, and makes the game easier and more enjoyable. Advanced teaching aids help us all understand the game and our swings better. Nutrition and customized golf-specific workout programs help to optimize the body to perform best on and off the golf course. Clay, the list goes on, and we aren't even close to where things could go. AI is just another building block in the evolutionary pattern we've seen for decades now. I think it's important to understand the use cases for it and how it's just another tool in the utility belt of the modern golf club manager. Again, I could ramble on for ages about this. So if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and leave us a review and drop us a message or leave a comment on our social media. We'd love to hear from you. All our links are in the show notes, wherever you're listening to this. We'll be back next time with more insights on business automation and AI technology for golf clubs. Once again, I'm Brad Milligan.
And I'm Clayton Elliott. So thanks again, Brad, and thank you for tuning in to the Acecall.ai podcast, where we help golf club managers win with AI, and we'll see you next time. Take care.